What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone, we got Ryan from Julien-K and Adema. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you here. The newest album is Harmonic Disruptor, and you have these two singles out now that people could get, Cross and Burn the System. Is that almost kind of like a clear representation of what the whole album is going to sound like, or is this just like the tip of the iceberg?
Well, at this point, with Cross and Burn the System, which are two singles that you'll get in advance if you pre-order the album, we've already released Shut Down Your Soul, Harmonic Disruptor, and Stronger Without You. So that's pretty much, if you pre-order the album, you pretty much get a big slice of what the album is. I mean, you're going to get a really good look at it. There's 8 songs in the album, so we did a traditional LP type of concept. The playing time is still, it's still a full-length album. It's just, we wanted it to be a very, very focused, 8-song, powerful statement. And that's what we focused on for this.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. That was a preconceived idea, or did it kind of just happen that way after laying down a few notes here and there?
No, it was preconceived. We really kind of wanted it to be, we knew we were going to press vinyl, we knew we were going to do all the stuff that our fans have been asking for, and we wanted it to be 4 songs on each side of the vinyl. There's space issues with vinyl, there's all sorts of stuff with vinyl. You have to kind of pre-plan what you're going to do and kind of know how you're going to do it when you're going into it, or you might find yourself with too much music for the vinyl. You know what I mean? So you have to think hard about all this kind of stuff. And in Julien-K, one thing we do is think and plan really hard for what we're going to do, how we're going to make the statement, what we want it to feel like and sound like, how long we want it to be, that doesn't mean that we didn't write 17, 18 songs. We did. Yeah. But what we do is we knew that Harmonic Disruptor was a statement. It was going to be a fucking hard statement. It was going to be a heavy album. It unfortunately coincided with the death of our best friend Chester Bennington, which completely changed the album. It changed the message of the album. But strangely enough, the sound was perfect for our ability to try to exercise the pain of that event. The return to this 90s, 9 Inch Nails, Broken, orgy, candy ass, Ministry, industrial, heavy, the kind of shit that turned us on when we were in high school or just getting out of high school. You know what I mean? The stuff that made us want to play music is what we wanted to capture. Oh, and we also wanted to capture that original feeling that we did in Orgy, because all that music and the guitars, the way they sounded, that sound when you hear Blue Monday, when you hear those guitars, it's signature, right? We wanted to, we know that's missing right now. So we wanted to do that too. We wanted to bring those feelings back. So we brought out all the Orgy gear and, my 7 strings, all that good stuff, and created this album. So yeah, that was a very long answer for a short question, but yes, all of it is very planned. We very, very much know going into an album what we're trying to do, and we also typically know what we're going to do after the album, because we know we're going to write a ton of music. So we aren't afraid to edit. We aren't afraid to hold music back. We'd rather put out a great product and achieve the goal that we want to achieve, very, very defined, rather than just blather all over an album. Yeah. The last couple albums we put out, were absolute. We put 12 2-part, albums with 12 songs each. We released 60 songs in a set just in the last couple of years. So we've been cranking out tons of music, and I think we really wanted to turn back around, go back to our roots and make a hard statement, and that's what Harmonic Disruptor is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And, this could just me being, a fan of your work, but, if you were to play me, a small portion of a song, I could tell that that's off Death to Analog, that's off of, We're Here With You, and that's off California Noir. So it's almost, is it fair to say that maybe, every album, whether it's this or the work you've done with Orgy or whatever, it's almost, representative of who you are at that particular time period, right?
Yeah, definitely. I always refer to it as, there's different seasons in a fashion line, but it's still like, if you're a fan of like Rick Owens or something like that, kind of stuff that we wear, all the black clothing, there's going to be different seasons in the line, but it's still the line. And what we wanted to do with Harmonic Disruptor was go back and remind everyone that we haven't forgotten where we came from. We haven't forgotten the music that put us on the map and the sound that put us on the map. We may come out with different types of, we might move in and out of different styles and moods, but we really at our core know who we are. And that's kind of something that we wanted to do for our fans and for us.
Definitely. You kind of, in a way, just answered this question too, but like, do you need to hear music before you come up with lyrics or a concept, or could a concept or lyrics maybe determine the outcome of the music?
All of the above. I'm typically more of a singer-songwriter type of guy. Like I could take a guitar and go to Starbucks and make like $300. I can sit out front and sing and play. And that's one of my talents or skill sets. Amir is very, very much a scientist, like a music scientist. So Amir will come up with a concept and create some music, and it will sound literally like a finished album. Like he'll come up with like a song or a part, and it'll sound like Blade Runner. You know what I mean? You'll be like, what the fuck? And if I immediately come up with lyrics or a melody, we know that that's kind of a song and that's a direction. So Amir's very, very good at that sonically. I'm very good at, when I hear a song, a lot of times I'll hear the guitar, I'll hear the bass, the drums, the vocal, everything, and I sing all the parts into my iPhone. And I'm not as technical, I am a highly technical guy, but compared with Amir and Fu and these other guys that are studio guys, I'm a joke. But so I just keep it like that. I keep it raw, or I'll write it on my guitar and I'll keep it kind of raw. And I kind of have the whole song pretty much in my head. And by the time it clashes with those guys, it becomes a Julien-K song because all the technical stuff is added. But that's the different ways that we kind of write. And then there's always a bit of Harmonic Disruptor, the name, the graphics, the sound, that was very much an Amir-driven kind of thing. California Noir was very, the name, the graphics, the feel, that was very much a me-driven thing. Death to Analog, very much a collaboration. We're Here With You was a reflection of us doing our first world touring in Julien-K. Like, we toured the world on our own as an indie band. And that's when we ended up writing We're Here With You, because all that stuff was written and conceived and thought of in different countries. And so it was kind of like, we're here with you. So there is a theme behind all of it. And it doesn't end, because our next album, which we're fast forwarding to, while Harmonic Disruptor is being released, that's all happening. It's going to happen. It's been disrupted, but we're going to release it, push it, do all that kind of stuff, and we're going to tour it. But right now, we're forced to be home, so we're launching a Patreon, and we're going to be streaming the making of Trauma Echoes, which is the second half of Harmonic Disruptor. So the Harmonic Disruption has become the death of Chester. That was the universe breaking for us. And I wrote a lot about it on the album. There's a lot of it's pretty rough, because publicly I have to be very cool and I have to be very positive, because you don't want to be throwing that juju out on the fans, right? Because this affected everyone. Just it's a horrible thing. I know COVID's going on, all that kind of stuff, but just think, a few years ago we lost one of the greatest musicians, singers, and people on the fucking earth. It's
what got me into music. I have a hybrid theory tattoo, so
yeah. It's and you can imagine if this was a guy that he used to live with me. It was I was best man at his wedding. It was like ripping my heart out and smashing it on the floor. It was the most horrible thing I've ever been through. And the Trauma Echoes concept is actually now, I just thought of it in the car a couple months ago when I thought of him, and it just hit me again like it just happened. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is it's like trauma has an echo. And I'm like, Trauma Echoes, that's exactly what the other half of this music that we didn't put on Harmonic Disruptor, because it was either too experimental or too moody in a different way. I was like, oh god, well, that's the next album. So we're going to fast forward. We're going to use the fact that we're trapped at home and all of our fans are trapped at home. And also we obviously need to, when you're ready to go on tour with the Birthday Massacre, you have a bunch of, sold out dates, 2 dates in a row in New York, just we're so stoked. You know, we spend like $10,000-$15,000 getting ready for the tour, getting the equipment ready and everything. So, and then when it's postponed or canceled, actually, I just saw dates pop up today, so it looks like we're going to be doing that at the end of the year. But you still have to carry that money, you know. So we're going to turn to our fans like we always do, and our fans come through like fucking, they're awesome. So we're going to invite them into our world. I'm setting up my studio for streaming. I'm setting up my house for streaming. We're going to stream a live Harmonic Disruptor show when we get our first 200 patrons. And then we're going to invite the fans in the studio for when we are, you know, to kind of be with us and have chats with us and watch us work on Trauma Echoes. And I figure that that's a way that we can, as artists, we can come into our fans' lives and bring them some sort of like, you know, they're missing out on all the concerts that they were going to go to. They're missing out on all the joy of going out and being together, you know, being around people. So I just thought maybe it's our job.
Yeah, definitely.
Go in and do something cool for them, and in return, we can actually make some sort of money to stay alive and keep the business going. Because at the end of the day, this is a business too. You have to pay bills to be in a national or international band. You have to, you know.
Yeah. One question I was really curious about, actually, because being such a prolific artist between, you know, Julien-K and now you're also playing with Adema, depending on like all the projects that you're playing with, is it like a different mind frame or a different artistic process, or is there kind of like a usual method behind the madness that applies to everything?
That's actually a really good question, and it's something that I'm having to face more now that I'm in Adema, because the trick with Adema, right? And this was a conversation I had with the band before I joined, and when they were asking me if I would consider doing it. And I just said, well, look, if we do it, you know, this first tour, I want to go out and do the first 2 albums. And I want to play the songs that the fans love. And I don't want to do anything other than that. I want to play them and I want to sing them. I want to use my voice, but I want to make sure that it works, you know, that it feels right, that, you know, if fans want to throw rocks at me on stage, they should be able to, and they should vote me or boo me out of the fucking band. But I want to do Adema the right way. I want all the electronics in there. I want the full band. So that's me getting into a mindset, right? That's pretty obvious that I'm thinking that hard about it. And I'm also thinking, Marky's a great fucking singer. Unfortunately, he's just not really capable of doing Adema. You know, he's a friend too. So I sort of feel like, I guess, Chester singing in Stone Temple Pilots. You know, Scott Weiland's fantastic, incredible singer with a style that you can't copy. So what do? You've got to go in and be yourself, but really respect the music and study the music and study what the lyrics are, what they're saying. Talk to the band, get to know what, like, who wrote what part, what happened. Like, once you start diving into that, you start creating the right mindset to create new Adema music. And by the way, that's part of something that we're going to be doing as well, is a new Adema album.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we actually got some interesting stuff in the works that I can't announce, but there's, since the tour went so well, and we got such an incredible response, the fans didn't boo me off stage. They really liked it. Some people came up to me and hugged me crying and said, thank you for bringing this band back, and thank you for doing it the right way. You know, you sound right, you sound good. And, you know, I very, very much thought that, you know, it really may not work. I told the band, I wrote it in the spreadsheet for our tour when I was planning, like, the tour managing side of it. I wrote in capital letters, be prepared for people to hate me. That's fucking ridiculous, right?
I give you credit for being able to be so humble about that, because especially, you know, that first Adema record, I mean, I remember being 6 years old when that album came out. And,
dude, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, sorry if I made you feel old by saying that.
No, I don't care. You know, I'm actually proud that I can be 46 and I can fucking outdo 20-year-olds on stage.
Yeah.
You know, so it's pretty great. You know, I stay in shape. I do, you know, jiu-jitsu and train, and there's a lot of mental and physical shit that goes into being able to do this and not be, you know, succumb to all the injuries you get over 45 years. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that is an example of, how hard I tried to grok Adema, before doing it. I really got into it. I really studied the music. I sang it all sorts of different ways on my own, like in my studio. I practiced. I sang it like Marky. I sang it like me. I sang it in between. I talked to Jonathan, so, I really, just dived into the band, like everything, the culture, the music. I studied those first two albums because I think that even with the new music that we make, it's gotta be, because I have the original band, I have the whole fucking band, and all of them wrote. They wrote the music, they wrote not all the vocals, but they wrote vocals. Tim sang, so you're gonna get Adema. And I told them, I go, guys, this is gonna be a continuation of those first two albums where you guys really had a defined sound. That's what I want to do. So and they're all for it. They're like, fuck yeah, great.
Awesome.
so that's what we're gonna do. And then with Orgy, that was very much, in the beginning of Orgy, it's funny, me and Jay would argue about who was going to be the singer, and not because either one of us wanted to be. So we defaulted on the tallest guy, and Jay was a singer, but I could always sing. So it turned out, I ended up writing a lot of vocals, and you can watch any live Orgy show, and I sing, 40% of the set, either back and forth with him or behind him or whatever. So that was very much something, Jay definitely, we influenced each other. That band and that sound obviously left a deep imprint on me and who I am forever.
Vapor Transmission is timeless.
Yeah, I mean, that was us, really at our, just creative peak. We could really do whatever we wanted to do, and that was really, really, really cool record.
I wanted that album really badly, but I was 6, and my mom wouldn't let me get it because the title was inappropriate. Mm-hmm. So, worth the wait, but...
Yeah, well, thank you.
Well, I wanted to ask one little fan question, if that's cool, actually. Sure. So, I really got fully into your work in 2004 or something like that, when I fully immersed hearing your song, This Machine, from Sonic Heroes. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Can you just tell me anything about working, making something for, my childhood hero?
Yeah. It's funny, that song probably created Julien-K. So Julien-K was going to be more like an electronic band or a DJ that Amir and I were going to do. And it was like an alternate ego, because we didn't want to be Amir and Ryan from Orgy. We wanted to do Julien-K, just because we were wanting to create music, and Orgy was, there was a time when Jay just was gone. He was just MIA. He wasn't coming to the studio. The band would go to the studio and he wouldn't be there. And just after a few months, and then it turned into a year, we kept writing music, and we kept getting, we were still out there, doing stuff. And weirdly enough, Amir has a friend named June who does the music for, Sega. And he contacted us, or he was talking to Amir, and he heard Julien-K, heard what became Julien-K, heard me singing, and he was like, this is really good. And he ended up asking us to create the song asked us if we were interested in doing it. And we were kind of like, well, okay, yeah, we're not really like a band or a project or anything yet, but sure, we'll do that. Orgy's not doing anything. And it was a really interesting exercise. They would send me, because I didn't know the games very well, other than I knew they existed. I didn't know what the subject matter was, but I had to learn all the characters. I had to learn, they'd give me a story, and it was in kind of translated from Japanese, so it was kind of hard to understand. And I would have to create a song and lyrics about the character, and so I kind of have to read the whole story. I thought that was so cool, but it was a super big challenge, because before that, I've only done original music where I'm God. You know what I mean? So, the boss of the song was me and Amir and Jay or whatever. You know what I mean? It was I didn't need to confer with anyone. But this was really, really cool, because I had to read a story and figure out how to sing a song about that character and its relation to the story. And they had to say okay, this makes sense. So it wasn't like I could just turn in garbage. And those songs are extremely popular. So
that whole album.
It is actually big. We played a Sega convention in UK.
Oh my god.
We headlined, and it was
Was Gunnar Nelson there too, who contributed to that game as well?
I think that I think we were the main, because we happened to be in Europe at that time touring, and so it kind of worked out. He may have been, but we headlined it, and I remember it was kind of a big deal. It was and we didn't really get to mix up with a bunch of other people that were there. It was kind of like we had to do press and all this kind of stuff. But it's weird because you have the reach of Sega and you have the reach of that game and the power of that game, and honestly it's bigger than anything that we could do in Julien-K, because we're not on a record label. There's no marketing team behind what we do. It's not like Orgy where you have Warner Brothers fucking doing what they do, this massive multi-million-dollar international entity behind it. Well, with the Sega stuff, even though that was like our first experiment as Julien-K, you have Sega and you have Sonic, and so the song was so popular, it was such a fucking hit with fans, they asked us to do another one, and that's basically how we ended up having those two songs. And it was really, really healthy for us because it kind of forced us into becoming the band Julien-K.
So it's fair to say that Sonic the Hedgehog was your A&R guy at the time?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. It's so funny because I sitting right in front of me right now, one of the things that I do just to get my mind off of, because I'm working really, really hard creating, our Patreon and creating this entire new concept. It's more work than anything. But then I go through and just reorganize. I've kind of been redoing my house and all this kind of stuff, setting up for streaming. And I pulled out that Sonic game that they gave us. Like, here's the game with the song on it. And I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, man, that's a really cool thing for us.
Yeah, I mean, that helped a lot. Like, video games really were kind of like what helped so many bands like get their foot in the door. Like,
dude, Adema. I mean, some of their biggest stuff was like Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And shit. I mean, that's where Immortal is from. I mean, that's like one of their coolest fucking songs.
Yep.
When I heard that song, that's when I really knew that I was like, dude, I think I can sing this music really good.
Yeah.
Because that song is like, that sounds like something I would write. I'm like, that's fucking great.
Yeah, and I mean, not even just like, I mean, and I'm neglecting Guitar Hero and Rock Band because that's an easy, but like when you look at like racing games, like Atreyu got big from Burnout. I think My Chemical Romance even got big from that game. So, it's just crazy on like how that's how I really like. I listened to Orgy and I've listened to your stuff. Everything you've contributed before that. But what really got me into like, who is this band? What are they about? It was that game.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, and that kind of led me into my next question, because you really do have like a visual aesthetic as much as you do have a sonic aesthetic on stage. Like,
sure.
And I was wondering if maybe Julien-K was actually like the name of one of the members of the band for the longest time.
Yes.
Like, do you kind of in a way like portray a character on stage, or like somebody completely out of your element, or is music a direct extension of who you personally are?
Yeah, it's a direct extension of who I am. Funny enough, I call it vertical integration. It's a business term, not typically used for art, but I am vertically integrated all the way, from my car to my home to my clothing to my the way I brand everything, the way I do things. All of it is kind of anything that's Ryan Shuck, like directly involved. Not the restaurants per se, because we don't make goth restaurants. It's not the way it works.
But never say never.
I know. I actually just was like, that sounds really cool. It actually might work better than anything, because it would be so much more up my alley. But no, everything, and my friends, a lot of my friends really, they make jokes about it, and it's funny, but they'll look at something and they'll call it, that's Ryan Shuck, or there's that character on Schitt's Creek, that the gay guy that dresses in all the Rick Owens and I forgot what his name, David. I think his name's David, and they among my friends they call him Ryan. They're like, because everything is like vertically integrated. He's got everything he does has the vibe and the look and the way he dresses, and I do that. That is kind of who I am, and the stage stuff is really I just believe that, I mean, it's just, you kind of wrap yourself up in the things that you believe in, and the vibe that you that you're portraying. It's actually pretty authentic. The things that we do, and it's not like we're becoming characters. You know, we really are the way we are. You know, I am an intense person. I can be difficult to handle. I'm a nice guy, but I'm fucking, you know, I am the same guy on stage. You know what I mean? I think that is something that we sat down a while ago when we started doing the crowdfunding, and we tried to figure out how it would work, because we've been incredibly successful at it. I mean, we're number one in the world with every campaign that we do, and I hope with Patreon, I hope that we're successful with that too, because that'll be more sustainable. But the running theme in what we wrote this down in the band is authenticity. We have to be us. Like, we really do have to. The fans, the people that love our music, have to kind of get who we are through our music, and our interviews, and the way we treat them, the way we dress, the way we, like, don't you know, don't fucking, you know, don't create another character, you know, for stage. Like, amplify yourself. Yeah, that's our thing. I'm not saying it's bad to play a character. I think it's totally cool. That's what you want to do. But I think that for us, we really have resonated with our fans, and we have a fucking hardcore. It's a smaller fan base, of course. I mean, it's not like Orgy or Dead by Sunrise or something like that, where, you know, we have hundreds of thousands or millions of fans. I mean, Julien-K is a smaller indie band, but we have a fucking hardcore fan base, and we just shipped. We just relaunched, or kind of redid our web store and put a lot of new product up. And we personally, you know, ship all the stuff. So I go to Amir's and we get boxes and boxes of merch, and we do it ourselves. I recognized almost every name on hundreds and hundreds of packages. I mean, I felt like fucking Santa Claus, like goth Santa. But I literally knew. I know, like, where they live. I know their face. I know many of them personally, and that's like a group of, you know, it's like 1,000 people that we call like the core inner group that support us. You know, and if 1,000 people will spend $200 a year on your band, that's a $200,000 base like business working model for the band, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the way we think. We want to take care of our fucking super fans, the people who consider us like part of their family. That's who we're looking after. We know there's tens of thousands more out there. We know that, but I can't like Facebook them. I can't like fucking message them, you know. But if you are a patron or you're a contributor on Indiegogo and you come to our shows, chances are I'm going to start getting to know you. You know, and that's being authentic. That's not being aloof and not being, you know, how a lot of artists are. Like, I seriously doubt, you know, I don't want to name anyone because that's mean. It's not their fault, but I do know a great many bands that, you know, it's just, they just don't even.
Well, you don't use. I feel like you don't use your image or even who you portray. You don't use your image or your character as a calling card, or like, you know, like you are who you portray, and I think that's amazing. And the fact that it resonates with people, it takes it even further. And I think your music is very inviting. Again, like, you know, you played, and I know that you played in a band called Sex Art for a while, like, which, you know, the name in itself could like maybe, but then you were also in a video game that I was playing when I was like 8-9 years old. Like, it feels like you're able to reach multiple audiences, you're able to connect with multiple audiences, and use many different mediums and many different forms of art to reach those people.
Yeah, I mean, I hope to. I definitely hope to. I mean, it's all through music, visual media, and content kind of creation is kind of my thing. And creating this vertically integrated image that is based on things that I dig. You know, I really am, as a person, I really am somebody who sees things that they like, or like I see looks that I think are rad, and it might even be, you know, watching Blade Runner. You know, I am the type of person that will watch Blade Runner and go, okay, I'm going to dress like that guy. You know, but that is kind of a little kid attitude. I just don't give I don't care. Like, I don't fucking care if I walk into a place, if I go to church with my nephew or something, which is totally funny. Everyone's like, oh, he goes to church? Yeah, sometimes I go with my nephew, and I come in looking like, like a little bit more calm Kylo Ren. I don't fucking care. I don't care. I like having a look. I like doing it. It's fun.
Yeah.
So it's me. I just don't give a fuck. and like I said, a lot of my friends, they make a lot of fun of it, but it's all funny. I think I love it. We all joke about it. Even my band jokes about it. Yeah. Amir will pick on me all the time. They'd be like, oh yeah, he won't. Hold on, he's not going to wear that to breakfast. He's gonna look like he's gonna put on something that makes him look like a Jedi. You know what I mean? It's kind of a running joke.
Yeah. See, what's funny is you master the art of not giving a fuck, but your music is so technically impressive that it almost seems like you give all the fucks in the world, at least with your artwork.
Oh, we do. We give massive fucks about the artwork. Absolutely, we give so much fucks. It makes us insane. It's tough because we are really hard. We're really not afraid to, if I'm working on something for 2 weeks and it's just not good, it's just not working. I mean, Amir will walk right in the door and be like, we're vicious. I think that's the way. So people that work with us that haven't before, they learn really quickly that we are hard. We're hard on ourselves. We're hard on the music. We're not afraid to tear something to pieces. We're not afraid to flush something down the toilet if you've been working on it for a month. We're not, with Amir and I, we're very used to it, so we can talk very, very bluntly. Amir can turn back around and just go, this is horrible. Or I'll be singing, he'll literally just put his hand on his nose and go, nasal, not good. It's really brutal. You wouldn't do that to just a random singer that you're working with. You'd have to use different language. You know what I mean, to get what you want. But or he'll go, I have a very sibilant voice, and it's very, very hard to recording. It's something you have to deal with. But I almost can't help it. But I mean, I can tell you, I'll be recording vocals, and the track will just stop. Sibilant, stop it. So it's like really funny. And if there's other people that are newer in the room, or while we're doing it, they're just like, God, these guys are like vicious. They just don't. There's fuck. But we don't even. It doesn't even faze me. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, cool. I got to do that. So that's through years and years and years of just caring so much about what we're doing that we can be really, really hard on it. That's. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with giving a fuck about the music and the work and the look and the everything that we do in that regard.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed this interview. Thank you.
Thank you. Me too. It was actually really nice to talk to somebody.
Of course. Is there just anything, you mentioned you're working on a Patreon. Is there just anything else like fans can support you with? Just any plugs you want to give or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. Here's what's going to happen. This Saturday is my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
And I'm going to launch Patreon this Saturday. I'm going to do a live chat on Facebook, and we're going to kind of celebrate with all of our fans, and I'm going to launch it. I'm going to watch people like subscribing and supporting, and I'm going to be thanking them live. The fans love it when we do these live chats because it's just, especially with everyone being cooped up, it's just like a really fun thing to do. So it's going to drop this Saturday. I've been hyping it. The album comes out, Harmonic Disruptor comes out on the 17th of April. We just said, fuck it, we're not going to wait. That the DSP wanted to wait. They were going to push it to after the crisis. And we were like, no. We want the fans to have the music. So we're dropping it on April 17th.
Awesome.
And then we are going to be doing a live streaming, full production Harmonic Disruptor show like we would have done on tour. And we're going to do that if we hit 200 patrons. I hope that we hit 500, but because that'll really actually be a difference maker. But at 200, it'll be enough for us to be able to afford to go set that up and do it. And so those are a couple big things. And then we will be essentially building out and fleshing out this new kind of model where we allow people to kind of watch us work. We have different tiers on Patreon where once a month we're going to have a chat session live where we talk about, I call it, we're working on it, fuckers. So we'll be working on, we'll talk about what the new music that we're working on, we'll play parts of it, we'll talk about the equipment we're using, all that kind of stuff, kind of geeky stuff. And I have a lot of different things built out like that. So it's going to be working on all that stuff, the new Adema album, all that stuff, while we're, kind of trapped at home, trying to figure out what's going to happen with tour.
Awesome.
So a lot of stuff in April. April's a big month starting this Saturday. This Saturday's a big day.
Awesome. And happy early birthday. So
thank you so much, man. Thank you.
But thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Ryan of Julien-K and Adema. New music coming very soon. And be on the lookout for everything we just talked about. And we'll see you next time on Heavy New York.